स्क्रीन देख पा रहे हैं आप मेरी?
जी माता जी।
Okay, great. All right. So जब ये क्रिएशन बनाया जाता है, जैसे सिटी प्लान हुआ और सिटी में भी गवर्नमेंट ने जेल प्लान किया, ऑल्दो दे नॉट रियली इंटरेस्टेड इन हैविंग अ जेल, बट क्योंकि कुछ लोग ऐसे हैं जो रूल्स को फॉलो नहीं करेंगे और रिबेल करेंगे, तो इसीलिए उनके लिए जेल बनाया जाता है। तो यहाँ पर भी यही बताया गया कि स्पिरिचुअल वर्ल्ड एग्जिस्ट करती है, बट स्पिरिचुअल वर्ल्ड के अलावा एक मटेरियल वर्ल्ड भी क्रिएट की जाती है, क्योंकि वहां पर स्पिरिचुअल वर्ल्ड में अपेरेंटली कुछ ऐसी लिविंग एंटिटीज हैं जो एनवियस होती हैं, और वो they don't want to live there, they want to enjoy separately. जबकि जो ऐसे लिविंग एंटिटीज हैं जो सारे रूल्स को फॉलो करते हैं, दे कैन स्टे देयर हैप्पीली। सो जैसे हमने पिछले सेशंस में भी डिस्कस किया था कि वेद जो हैं भगवान के शब्द हैं, और धर्मम तो साक्षात भगवत प्रणीतम। तो अगर ये जो शास्त्र हैं वो हमें गाइडेंस दे रहे हैं कि हम कैसे ये जो मटेरियल वर्ल्ड या प्रिजन हाउस है उससे बाहर निकल सकते हैं। जैसे प्रिजन हाउस में एक कैदी है, अगर वो सारे जो भी जेल के नियम कानून हैं और कुछ सर्विस करनी पड़ती है उसको, अगर वो फॉलो करता है तो वो जल्दी छूट जाता है जेल से। सिमिलरली फॉर अस, we can also receive the spiritual wisdom from the scriptures, from the Vedas, and we can also go back to Krishna, go back to that world. So, और ये जो शास्त्र हैं अभी तक ये कृष्णा ने सबसे पहले विष्णु जी के रूप में ब्रह्मा जी को दिए, ब्रह्मा जी ने नारद मुनि को दिए, नारद मुनि ने वेद व्यास को दिए, और इस प्रकार से डिसिप्लिक सक्सेशन से ये सारे शास्त्र जो हैं हमें मिल रहे हैं, so this is the way of receiving the knowledge. ऐसा नहीं है कि कोई भी कुछ मनगढ़ंत कुछ भी बना दे और वो शास्त्र बन जाए, नहीं। शास्त्रास आर द वर्ड ऑफ गॉड. इफ यू सी इन श्रीमद् भागवतम एंड इन भगवद गीता ऑल्सो, कलयुग कैसा होगा सारा प्रिडिक्ट किया हुआ है। चाणक्य पंडित, चैतन्य महाप्रभु, बुद्धा, इन सब का प्रिडिक्शन है। यहाँ तक कि किस जगह पर ये अपेयर होंगे, माता पिता का क्या नाम होगा, ये सारा प्रिडिक्टेड है। तो शास्त्र कोई ऐसी चीज नहीं है जो कोई भी अपना मनगढ़ंत तरीके से इसको लिख सकता है। सो स्पिरिचुअल मास्टर्स की चेन है, 4 परंपराएं हैं। पद्म पुराण में जब वेद व्यास जी ने सारे शास्त्र लिखे तो पद्म पुराण में वो 4 संप्रदायों को मेंशन किया, या 4 स्कूल्स को मेंशन किया, जिससे हम ये ज्ञान प्राप्त कर सकते हैं, है ना। तो श्रीला प्रभुपाद जो हैं वो ब्रह्म नारदीय संप्रदाय में आते हैं। 4 संप्रदाय हैं, जैसे रुद्र संप्रदाय जो लॉर्ड शिव से स्टार्ट होती है, लक्ष्मी जी से स्टार्ट होती है श्री संप्रदाय, 4 कुमारों से कुमार संप्रदाय शुरू होती है, और ब्रह्म नारदीय संप्रदाय के जो हेड हैं वो ब्रह्मा जी हैं। और ब्रह्मा जी ब्रह्म नारदीय के अगर आप भगवत गीता देखेंगे इस्कॉन की, तो उसके शुरुआत में इंट्रोडक्शन के बाद पूरा चेन ऑफ डिसिप्लिक सक्सेशन है। कैसे कृष्णा ने ब्रह्मा जी को दिया, ब्रह्मा जी ने नारद मुनि को, वेद व्यास जी को, और आगे मध्वाचार्य, कितने जो भी आगे डिसिप्लिक सक्सेशन में। तो ये एक राइप फ्रूट की तरह है जो हैंड ओवर किया गया है ना, फ्रॉम कृष्णा through the acharyas to us. So Srila Prabhupada is a bona fide spiritual master in that succession, and he has brought us this knowledge, having connected himself to the Guru Parampara, having assimilated all that knowledge. He has translated many volumes of books which were originally only present in Sanskrit, and also some in Bengali, बट वो नॉर्मल जनता नहीं पढ़ सकती थी। तो प्रभुपाद ने उसको आसान भाषा में, इंग्लिश में, और भी अभी जैसे भगवत गीता है वो 70 भाषाओं में, हर कंट्री में इट इज अवेलेबल इन दैट लैंग्वेज। So this is mercy of Srila Prabhupada. तो ब्रह्म विवर्त पुराण में ऑल्सो चैतन्य चरितामृत में ये मेंशन होता है कि भगवान कृष्ण के 5000 साल जाने के बाद एक व्यक्ति ऐसा आएगा, हाँ, उनको सेनापति भक्त बोला गया है चैतन्य चरितामृत में, जो कृष्ण के नामों का चैंटिंग जो है वो इंडिया से बाहर लेकर जाएगा, भारत भूमि से बाहर लेके जाएगा, 7 समुंदर पार लेके जाएगा, ऐसा प्रेडिक्शन है। और ये किसने किया? श्रीला प्रभुपाद ने किया। हम आपको थोड़ा सा बताएंगे। तो भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर 1800s में हमारे आचार्य हैं भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर, उन्होंने लिखा था कि soon there will be a time when chanting of Krishna's name will be heard in England, France. Sorry, I'm not able to see this. Can someone read this fully? Because of...
May I read?
Yeah, please.
Later in the 1800s, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, a great devotee, predicted in his magazine Sajjana Toshini, soon there will be a time when chanting of Krishna's name will be heard in England, France, Russia, Germany, and America.
So this is already the prediction which has been made. Yeah. Please continue.
In answer to these prayers and predictions, in the year of 1896, there appeared Abhay Charan De, later known as His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada's father once bought him a small cart to pull the deity of Lord Jagannatha, Krishna. So Prabhupada would organize little festivals in his neighborhood. Even then, among his playmates, Srila Prabhupada was always considered the leader.
तो आप देख सकते हैं छोटे से हैं इसमें प्रभुपाद एक चित्र बनाया गया है। प्रभुपाद के जो पिताजी थे गौर मोहन डे, वो एक शुद्ध भक्त थे और उनका वो क्लॉथ मर्चेंट थे, और वो जब अभय छोटे थे तभी से उनको एक छोटे छोटे सेट्स ऑफ राधा कृष्णा और वर्शिप करने के लिए दिए थे। और गौरमोंडे एक बार जगन्नाथपुरी लेके गए छोटे से अभय को, और वहां पर उन्होंने रथ यात्रा होते देखी और उन्होंने ठान ली कि मैं अपने घर में भी रथ यात्रा करूंगा। तो कहानी ऐसे आती है कि घर आए और उन्होंने पिताजी से कहा कि मुझे एक रथ बनवा दीजिए, और तो उन्होंने कहा चलो ठीक है मैं बनवाता हूँ, पर उसकी कॉस्ट पूछी तो उस समय आई थिंक कुछ 200 रुपए उसकी कॉस्ट बनने की बन रही थी, तो बहुत ज्यादा अमाउंट होता था 200 रुपए। तो उनके पिताजी ने कहा कि मैं अफोर्ड नहीं कर सकता, दे वर लाइक वेरी मिडिल क्लास टाइप फैमिली, एंड उन्होंने बोला मैं खरीद नहीं सकता। तो अभी रोने लगे, सड़क पर ही रोने लगे। तो इतने में एक थोड़ी बूढ़ी औरत वहां पर आई और बोली कि क्यों रो रहे हो बेटा? तो उनके पिताजी ने कहा कुछ नहीं, ये ऐसे ऐसे कार्ट मांग रहा है। तो वो बोली मेरे पास एक पुराना सा कार्ट रखा है, अगर आप चाहें तो उसको यूज कर सकते हैं। तो आप देख लीजिए कि वो शुद्ध भक्त शुरू से थे, और जैसे ही उनकी इच्छा हुई तो समन अपीयर टू ऑफर दैट सर्विस। सो वो कार्ट मिला उनको, और उनको थोड़ा सा उनको रिपेयर कराना पड़ा, और फिर उन्होंने जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा की डीटीज उसके ऊपर रख कर, बताया जाता है 9 दिन तक यात्रा की, 9 दिन तक रथ यात्रा मनाई। कहाँ पे? अपनी गलियों में। और इतना फेमस हो गया वो फेस्टिवल कि सब आसपास के लोग, आप जिसे देख सकते हैं, सारे नेबर्स पार्टिसिपेट करने लगे, और सब भगवान को भोग लगाने के लिए हर रोज कुछ ना कुछ बना के लेकर आते थे। तो yes, please continue reading.
I also want to ask something, Mataji. So
Yes.
Jagannath Puri Dham mein, the Rath Yatra that's done, it's done after Srila Prabhupada started it.
जगन्नाथपुरी में रथ यात्रा बहुत समय से चल रही है, आई थिंक अबाउट 100 years और समथिंग, लेकिन वहां के बाहर कहीं रथ यात्रा नहीं होती थी। लेकिन अभी 70 देशों में रथ यात्रा होती है, आप जानते हैं, प्रभुपाद की कृपा से। क्योंकि प्रभुपाद ने सबसे पहली रथ यात्रा, जब वो यूएस गए तो सबसे पहली रथ यात्रा उन्होंने सैन फ्रांसिस्को में करवाई। तो तब से जहां जहां मंदिर है वहां पर रथ यात्रा मनाई जाती है। Yeah. Is that okay, Kirti?
Yes, yes. Thank you, Mataji.
Okay.
Prabhupada later attended Scottish Church College in Calcutta, which was administered by the British. Later, he refused to accept his diploma from that college as a protest against British oppression, although he had actually completed all the requirements for the degree.
So Prabhupada was following Gandhi, and वो उस समय उन्होंने गांधी वो जो कॉटन का कपड़ा पहनते थे वही कपड़ा पहनने लगे थे वो, और उन्होंने ऑल्दो ही वाज अ वेरी ब्रिलियंट स्कॉलर, बताया जाता है कि वो अपनी एजुकेशन के टाइम में वो काफी ही वाज वन ऑफ द टॉप मोस्ट स्टूडेंट्स, बट जब डिग्री लेने की बात आई तो उन्होंने डिग्री को रिफ्यूज कर दिया. Yes, please continue.
After this, a friend of his father, Dr. Bose, made him a manager of his chemical company. Thereafter, in 1918, Prabhupada married and soon started a family.
Yeah, so you can see this is Prabhupada with mustaches, and that's his wife standing here. Her name is Radha Rani Day, and they had 4 children together. Please continue.
It was in 1922 when Srila Prabhupada met his spiritual master, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, for the first time. Bhakti Siddhanta told Srila Prabhupada, "You're a nice young man and you know English. Therefore, you should preach this mission of Lord specifically to the English-speaking countries in the Western world."
तो भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर जो हैं वो उस समय के बहुत बड़े वैष्णव आचार्य होते थे, और प्रभुपाद के एक दोस्त थे जो उनको लेके गए थे इनसे मिलवाने के लिए. प्रभुपाद बहुत रिलक्टेंट थे, बोल रहे थे मैं नहीं जाना चाहता, मेरे घर में बहुत सारे साधु आते थे, बचपन से मैं देखता था, बट नॉट ऑल ऑफ देम आर वेरी प्योर. सो बट हिज फ्रेंड इंसिस्टेड, नो, यू प्लीज कम. So they met, and Prabhupada and Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur देखते ही कि ये इतने ज्यादा एजुकेटेड हैं और इतने फ्लुएंट हैं इंग्लिश में, तो उन्होंने कहा कि आपको ये जो मैसेज है चैतन्य महाप्रभु का, भगवत गीता का, श्रीमद् भागवतम का, इसको इस देश के पार लेके जाना चाहिए. तो गुरु से मिलते ही तुरंत इंस्ट्रक्शन भी मिल गया उनको. अभी उन्होंने गुरु इनको बनाया नहीं है ना. It is only after 10 years that he takes Diksha. Please continue.
In 1933, Srila Prabhupada took formal initiation from Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, accepting him as a spiritual master. In 1935, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati told him to print as many books as possible and to distribute them throughout the world.
Yes. तो प्रभुपाद 1922 से लेके 1933 तक अपने गुरु से संपर्क में रहे, इंस्ट्रक्शंस लेते रहे, लेकिन उन्होंने दीक्षा जो है 1933 में ली, बट ड्यूरिंग दैट टाइम जो ये 10 साल थे उसमें भी he was acting like a disciple only. He was supporting the Gaudiya mission activities, Gaudiya Math activities, and he was himself chanting, and he was preaching. तो वो और 1933 में उनका जब दीक्षा हुआ, उसके 1935 में उनके गुरु ने उनको एक और आज्ञा दी. क्या बोला उन्होंने कि आपके पास धन हो तो आप बुक्स प्रिंट कीजिए, है ना, और डिस्ट्रीब्यूट कीजिए उनको. प्लीज कंटिन्यू.
Following the desire of his spiritual master, Prabhupada began publishing his Back to Godhead magazine in 1944. He wrote them himself, had them printed, and even rode into town on the bus to distribute these one-page sheets, but he never stopped. To this day, the Back to Godhead magazine has been published monthly by his faithful followers and distributed in many languages.
Yeah. So ये मैगजीन आपको अभी भी मिल जाएगी. पहले एक वो टैबलॉइड की तरह होता था, और तो प्रभुपाद खुद ही उसको लिखते थे, खुद ही प्रिंटिंग कराते थे, और उसको डिस्ट्रीब्यूट भी खुद ही करते थे. बताया जाता है कि वो ऐसी चाय की दुकानों में जाते थे या अनेक जगहों पे जाते थे जहाँ लोग सिगरेट पी रहे होते थे, चाय पी रहे होते थे, और वो उनसे रिक्वेस्ट करते थे कि प्लीज इसको पढ़ो. अब और अभी तक भी ये बैक टू गॉडहेड, अभी प्रभुपाद के समय में ही ये बैक टू गॉडहेड जो टैब्लॉइड होता था उसको कन्वर्ट कर दिया गया मैगजीन में। अभी आप देख सकते हैं जैसे ब्लू कवर की मैगजीन है, तो ये हर मंथ ये छपती है। इट्स अ ब्यूटिफुल मैगजीन टू रीड। ओके, कंटिन्यू प्लीज।
In 1953, he had started his League of Devotees, a small organization of Krishna conscious people. This was a forerunner of what was to be the International Society for Krishna Consciousness.
तो प्रभुपाद ने जो भी इंस्ट्रक्शन अपने गुरु महाराज से प्राप्त किए, he was always trying to fulfill them. He was trying to earn money he was into chemicals business, and he was trying to establish many chemical factories at various places to earn money, but somehow or the other it wasn't really working. So this is इंदौर में भी वो ये इंदौर में जहाँ पर उन्होंने लीग ऑफ डिवोटीज एस्टैब्लिश किया था, वहां पर भी वो कुछ बिजनेस के काम से आए और कुछ समय वहां रुके थे। तो उनको एक लैंड मिला, जैसे आप देख सकते हैं यहाँ पे एक लैंड मिला हुआ है और दीवार पे लीग ऑफ डिवोटीज लिखा हुआ है। तो ये उस समय का पिक्चर है। और लेकिन एज द लक वुड हैव इट, भगवान कृष्ण का ये प्लान नहीं था। तो इतनी मेहनत करने के बाद भी, लीग ऑफ डिवोटीज बनाने के बाद भी, कुछ भक्तों को प्रचार कर किया उन्होंने, कुछ डिसाइपल्स भी बनाए, लेकिन उसके बावजूद भी क्या हुआ कि जो लैंड था उनसे छीन लिया गया। गवर्नमेंट में कोई एक व्यक्ति था, उसकी पत्नी को ये लैंड पसंद आ गया था लेडीज क्लब बनाने के लिए। तो उन्होंने वापस हथिया लिया, जो भी इसका ओनर था उससे ले लिया ये लैंड। तो लीग ऑफ डिवोटीज वाज नॉट रियली अ सक्सेस। प्लीज कंटिन्यू।
In 1959, Srila Prabhupada accepted the renounced order sannyas at the Gaudiya Math Keshav temple in Mathura to execute the order of his spiritual master by preaching and writing in the English language.
Yes. So प्रभुपाद उन्होंने अपने गृहस्थ आश्रम की ड्यूटीज बहुत अच्छे से की, और फिर जब उन्हें लगा कि उन्हें वानप्रस्थ ले लेना चाहिए, तो कुछ साल वो वानप्रस्थ थे, और फिर अपने सारे गॉड ब्रदर्स के कहने पर उन्होंने संन्यास आश्रम भी धारण किया। ऑल्सो उनके गुरु महाराज भक्ति सरस्वती ठाकुर, जो भी हमने आपको बताए थे, वो उनके स्वप्न में बार बार आते थे और उनको कहते थे कि यू मस्ट टेक संन्यास एंड यू मस्ट गो आउट ऑफ इंडिया टू प्रीच। सो वो कंटिन्यूअसली उनको इंस्पायर करते थे। So finally he took sannyas in Mathura. As you can see, the picture on the rightmost is Prabhupada. Continue.
Thereafter, he took up residence in Vrindavan, the land of Krishna's birth. After some years, he occupied a room in the Radha Damodar temple.
So अब वृंदावन जाएंगे तो हम आपको राधा दामोदर मंदिर लेकर जाएंगे, और वहां पर आपको प्रभुपाद के वो रूम और किचन दिखाएंगे, जिसकी फोटो आप यहाँ पे देख रहे हैं। तो प्रभुपाद यहाँ पे बैठ के वहाँ रूप गोस्वामी की समाधि है, उसको देखते हुए अपना प्रसाद पा रहे हैं यहाँ पे। And this room is being maintained as it is by ISKCON, and that's a very, very dear place. Please continue.
While living there, though almost penniless and sometimes only eating every other day, he continued writing and distributing his Back to Godhead magazine.
बहुत सुंदर स्टोरी है। प्रभुपाद लीलामृत पढ़ेंगे तो बहुत ही दयनीय स्थिति है कि वो बस का किराया बचाने के लिए पैदल चल के जाते थे, और ब्रेकफास्ट नहीं खाया होता था। तो वहां पर जो मिस्टर जैन थे, जो प्रिंटर थे, वो अपने घर से खाना मंगा के खिलाते थे प्रभुपाद को। प्रभुपाद का पूरा दिन निकल जाता था उस बैक टू गॉडहेड मैगजीन की प्रूफ रीडिंग करना, फाइनल एडिटिंग करना, और फिर उसको प्रिंटिंग में देना। सो ही स्ट्रगल्ड अ लॉट फॉर अस।
In addition to that, Srila Prabhupada seriously spent most of his time from 1959 to 1965 translating the multi-volume Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is the main scripture of the 18 Puranic text.
Yes. So ये महापुराण बोला जाता है श्रीमद् भागवत को, और उन्होंने इस दौरान पहले 3 वॉल्यूम्स को ट्रांसलेट किया, उसके वर्ड टू वर्ड ट्रांसलिटरेशन दिए, He gave the translations and the detailed purports. तात्पर्य लिखे उन्होंने. So it's a great work which he did. He did first 3 volumes in Radha Damodar Mandir only. Yes.
By 1965, he had raised funds to publish the first 3 volumes of Srimad Bhagavatam. Armed with this, Prabhupada felt ready to finally carry out the instructions his spiritual master had given him nearly 40 years earlier. Then he decided to travel to America. In 1965, Srila Prabhupada reached the shores of the USA on the steamship Jaladutt. He arrived with the equivalent of $8 in Indian rupees, a pair of hand cymbals, and a small trunk of his book. During his voyage at sea, Srila Prabhupada suffered 2 severe heart attacks. Not knowing anyone, he thought, I am an old man. I cannot do very much. But what I can do, let me do in New York City, which is the biggest of all cities in the world. He maintained himself by selling just enough books to get by and staying here and there.
So, जलदूत नाम की steamship लिखा है. इसमें वो माल ship थी. माल ship, goods ship. It is not like a passenger ship. So it did not have the comfort of a passenger ship. Although Prabhupada had a cabin there. और वहां पर Atlantic Ocean was very, very fierce. And Prabhupada had, heart attacks. वहां के जो डॉक्टर थे वो बहुत ही परेशान हो गए कि ये he was already 69, actually 70. उन्होंने सोचा कि Prabhupada will not survive. But somehow by Krishna's mercy, Prabhupada survived. And then Prabhupada had a dream जिसमें उन्होंने देखा कि जलदूत को देखा और जलदूत को कौन कंट्रोल किए हुए हैं? कृष्णा, नरसिंह देव, वामन अवतार, सारे अवतार प्रेजेंट हैं भगवान के वहां पे. He saw that. और फिर बताया जाता है कि अटलांटिक ओशन बाकी जो जर्नी थी उसमें अटलांटिक ओशन बहुत शांत था. और जो कैप्टन की वाइफ थी, कैप्टन पांड्या थे, कैप्टन पांड्या की जो वाइफ थी, उन्होंने बताया प्रभुपाद को कि मैं कितनी बार ट्रैवल की हूँ न्यूयॉर्क इसी शिप में अटलांटिक ओशन से, पर अटलांटिक ओशन कभी इतना शांत नहीं था, इसलिए वापसी में भी आप हमारे साथ आइए. तो प्रभुपाद कृष्ण की कृपा से आप देख सकते हैं कि प्रभुपाद के लिए जर्नी को आसान बनाया कृष्ण ने. और जब बताया जाता है कि जब वो शिप से उतरे तो उनको पता नहीं था कि लेफ्ट जाना है कि राइट जाना है. एक उनके दोस्त थे, उन्होंने किसी पहचान के किसी रिलेटिव से उन्होंने एक कुछ आई थिंक 2 वीक्स का स्टे या 1 मंथ का स्टे उन्होंने स्पॉन्सर करवाया था एक व्यक्ति से जो वहीं रहते थे. और प्रभुपाद उनके घर में कुछ समय रहे. सो अगर आप प्रभुपाद लीलामृत पढ़ेंगे तो बहुत सुंदर है. अभी थोड़ा सा मैं ब्रीफली बता रही हूँ. सो प्रभुपाद स्टेड इन दैट हाउस ऑफ गोपाल एंड सैली अग्रवाल for some time, and he tried to preach to the neighbors, to many other people around. Please continue.
Humbly considering himself to be the most insignificant servant of his spiritual master, Prabhupada pushed on with great determination to try to accomplish many ambitious things before the time he would die.
Yeah. So Prabhupada was already 70 years old, and it was like टाइम वॉज रनिंग आउट. और प्रभुपाद को बुक्स भी ट्रांसलेट करनी थी और ये प्रचार भी करना था. पहला 1 साल बहुत स्ट्रगल था क्योंकि धन नहीं था, रहने की जगह नहीं थी. तो 1 महीने का जब स्टे एक्सपायर हो गया तो प्रभुपाद और कहीं पर कहाँ जाते जहां पर वो अफोर्ड कर सकते थे. वो बावरी था, है ना. बावरी वो जगह थी जहां पर हिप्पी लोग रहते थे. और वो जो हिप्पी थे वो न नहाते थे, सारे ड्रग्स में पूरा का पूरा नशे में रहते थे. they used to pass urine on the stool, urine on the road, and it was a bad state. Bowery was not a nice place or for decent people to stay. But Prabhupada had no money, so he went and shared a loft at the Bowery with a drug addict person. And that was also very difficult. I mean, you will literally cry when you hear the story. He was driven out of it because one time that drug addict person tried to attack Prabhupada and he chased him out. So at that age, so he had by that time known some people, and those people helped him find a place in the 26th 2nd Avenue in New York. And that place is still there with us. और वहां से प्रभुपाद के पास एक छोटा सा कमरा था उसके ऊपर, और प्रभुपाद ने वहां से अपना प्रचार शुरू किया. वहां पर वो भगवत गीता की क्लास करते, कीर्तन करते, और क्योंकि बहुत कम मीन्स थे, पैसे नहीं थे, अपनी जो भी बुक्स थी उनको बेच के जो भी थोड़ा बहुत धन होता उससे प्रसाद बनाते और सबको खिलाते. वेरी स्ट्रगल. ये आप देख सकते हैं, ये हरे कृष्णा टेम्पल जो लिखा है मैचलेस गिफ्ट, इट वाज द मैचलेस गिफ्ट स्टोर एक्चुअली, जो रेंट पे प्रभुपाद ने लिया. प्लीज रीड. या
In July of 1966, Prabhupada secured a storefront called Matchless Gifts with an adjoining apartment of 26 2nd Avenue. He began holding Bhagavad Gita classes at 6 a.m. and 7 p.m. Only 10 months after his arrival to the USA, prospective devotees started coming to his Matchless Gifts temple.
तो कई बार ऐसे होता था कि प्रभुपाद एडवर्टाइज करते थे कि क्लास कर रहा हूं मैं ये भगवत गीता, लेकिन कोई आता नहीं था. तो बताया जाता है प्रभुपाद अकेले बैठ के ही बोल रहे होते थे. हमारी भगवत गीता का जो इंट्रोडक्शन पढ़ेंगे वो प्रभुपाद ने अकेले बैठे ही रिकॉर्ड कर लिया, क्योंकि कोई आया नहीं था उस क्लास में, लेकिन फिर भी प्रभुपाद वो क्लास जरूर देते थे. प्लीज कंटिन्यू.
In 1966, Prabhupada officially founded the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Some devotees argued for using God consciousness instead, but Prabhupada replied sternly, God has a name, Krishna, so why not use it?
Yes. Continue.
In those early days, Srila Prabhupada established his basic program for spreading Krishna consciousness, from which he never deviated. Every night he would sleep only 1 or 2 hours and then rise early to translate.
Yeah. So Prabhupada used to sleep by 9:30 or 10, and he used to sleep only for 2 hours or less, 1.5 hours sometimes. And क्योंकि दिन भर वो डिसाइपल्स से मिलते और बहुत सारे जो भी मैनेजमेंट के काम होते वो करते थे. तो the only time when he could translate these books which he has given us now, it was only in the night that he could do it. So he didn't sleep, he sacrificed his sleep, his health for us.
In the morning hours, he would have the early morning worship and then give lecture. The remainder of the day was devoted to outdoor preaching, managing, and teaching his students about Krishna.
Gita, are you there?
Guided by Srila Prabhupada, can you hear me?
Yes.
Guided by Srila Prabhupada, 2 couples among his disciples opened a Hare Krishna temple in San Francisco. After Matchless Gifts in New York, that was the second ISKCON temple. January 29, 1967. All the cutting-edge San Francisco bands, The Grateful Dead, Moby Grape, Janis Joplin, Big Brother, and the holding company, Jefferson Airplane Quicksilver Messenger Service, had agreed to appear with Srila Prabhupada at the Avalon Ballroom's Mantra Rock Dance, proceeds from which went to the newly opened local Hare Krishna temple. Thousands of jubilant hippies packed the hall. His disciples were going out and opening new branches. After New York and San Francisco, new temples were opened in Montreal, Los Angeles, Detroit, Boston, Philadelphia, Columbus. In 1967, he returned to India and stayed in the Radha Damodar temple for a few months.
So this happened because Prabhupada had a heart attack there again, and his for about a month or so, his body down from neck was paralyzed. He couldn't do anything, and his disciples were serving him. So he decided to come to India to recuperate and bring himself back to good health. So वो कुछ समय के लिए इंडिया वापस आए इस समय.
In 1971, he visited Vrindavan with 40 Western disciples. They traveled across India, setting up public programs for thousands of people. Many Indian people joined his spiritual family.
या तो जब पहले प्रभुपाद इंडियंस को प्रीच कर रहे थे वेस्ट में जाने से पहले, तो लोगों का रिस्पांस अच्छा नहीं था, है ना। लेकिन जब उन्होंने देखा कि बाहर के लोग अमेरिकन जो हैं, दे आर ग्लोइंग, दे आर सो हैप्पी इन कृष्णा कॉन्शियसनेस, सो दे स्टार्टेड, इंडियंस आल्सो स्टार्टेड गेटिंग interested in Krishna consciousness.
Some of Srila Prabhupada's unparalleled achievements. He sent his followers chanting the names of God into the streets of cities and villages. Thus, the Hare Krishna mantra became famous in nearly every corner of the earth.
तो हर कंट्री में, इनफैक्ट प्रभुपाद ने पूरे ग्लोब को 13 इयर्स में 14 बार ग्लोब के अराउंड गए, जापान, रशिया और वो सब कम्युनिस्ट कंट्रीज भी जहां पर लोग नहीं जाया करते थे प्रचार के लिए। तो प्रभुपाद ने he worked so hard for us. Yes.
He organized traveling bus parties in the USA and Australia to spread Krishna's teachings, spoken in the days of yore and written 5,000 years ago in the timeless Vedic literatures. He sent his disciples to London, where they recorded the single Hare Krishna mantra with George Harrison in 1969. It became the fastest selling of all the Apple Corporation's releases, including those of the Beatles. Srila Prabhupada came to London the same year and for the first time addressed the English public in October 1969 in Conway Hall. He formally initiated approximately 5,000 disciples. These initiates represented a sweeping diversity of nationalist, races, ethnicities, and religious backgrounds. He spoke daily on the philosophy of Krishna consciousness, delivering thousands of formal lectures. Over 2,200 were recorded and archived.
These are still with us. Yeah.
He conducted many hundreds of informal conversations on the science of Krishna consciousness with his disciples, guests, and friends. Over 1,300 were recorded and archived. He founded the Bhakti Vedanta Institute to advance Krishna consciousness within the scientific community, engaging serious academics in the consideration of the science of self-realization. He had scores of interviews and philosophical discussions with news reporters, scientists, religious leaders, and politicians, as well as meetings with world-renowned dignitaries and celebrities. He skillfully managed his international society simply through letters and personal meetings virtually without the use of a telephone. In order to carry on the mission in his absence, he counseled his disciples on complex managerial, philosophical, and personal issues in more than 6,000 archived letters. He inaugurated the Rath Yatra festival of Lord Jagannath, Krishna, in major cities around the globe, in effect, bringing the temple to the people. In 1971, he planted the seed of Krishna consciousness in Moscow, thus repeating the same preaching strategy he previously used in the USA. Srila Prabhupada looked so lonely and all by himself as he walked towards the Red Square in Moscow. Srila Prabhupada created the world's first chain of vegetarian restaurants, Govindas. He introduced the Sunday Love Feast Prasadam, sanctified food distribution combined with spiritual music and lectures about Vedic wisdom. He set up farm communities to teach simple living and high thinking, emphasizing cow protection and dependence on God and nature. In 1972, Srila Prabhupada introduced the Vedic system of primary and secondary education in the West by founding the Gurukul school in Dallas.
Okay.
Since then, his disciples have established similar schools throughout the world in order to provide education in the principles of devotional service. In 1974, shocked and saddened upon seeing a group of village children fighting with street dogs over scraps of food, Srila Prabhupada told his students to begin serving free meals to the poor and destitute.
So ये अभी भी होता है. प्रभुपाद ने इंस्ट्रक्शन दिया था. एक्चुअली मायापुर में एक बार जब फेस्टिवल हुआ, उसके बाद डस्टबिन में जो प्लेट्स पे जो जूठन लगी थी, उसके लिए प्रभुपाद ने देखा कि बच्चे और कुत्ते लड़ रहे हैं. तो Prabhupada was so hurt and he was crying. He was very sad upon it, and he immediately instructed his disciples कि जहां पर भी हरे कृष्णा मंदिर होगा, वहां के 10 मील रेडियस में कोई भी भूखा नहीं जाना चाहिए. तो अभी भी हर मंदिर के साथ अटैच्ड हैं वैन्स जो 10 मील के रेडियस में घूमती हैं, और ये खिचड़ी प्रसादम जो सुबह शाम इसको डिस्ट्रीब्यूट किया जाता है फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट टू एवरीवन. दे इवन फीड द डॉग्स,
Prabhupada's followers were inspired to expand that original effort into a global network of free kitchens, vans, and mobile services, establishing daily delivery to homeless and destitute people around the world.
Yeah. So अभी recently Delhi government के साथ tie up किया हरे कृष्णा फूड फॉर लाइफ ने, और अभी बहुत सारे सरकारी स्कूल, करीब 6000 सरकारी स्कूल जो in the country, they are being distributed free of cost in these meals.
He recorded more than 20 albums of devotional music. He established 108 Krishna temples on 6 continents, installed the deity of Krishna in each center, and trained his disciples in the process of deity worship.
This is Mayapur, you can see in the picture, and these are the deities there, Radha Madhav.
Srila Prabhupada's most significant contribution, however, is his books. Highly respected by scholars for their authority, depth, and clarity, they are used in numerous colleges worldwide. He wrote more than 70 books on the science of Krishna consciousness, sleeping only a few hours per day. Dozens of prominent scholars and educators from leading universities praised his work. He founded the Bhakti Vedanta Book Trust, BBT, in 1972 to produce his books. By 1976, over 55 million literatures had been published in 25 languages.
Can you imagine 55 million? Okay, yeah.
His books are being distributed in almost every country, making the BBT the world's largest publisher of spiritual and philosophical texts. For this reason, I'm very excited about the publication of Bhagavad Gita as it is by Sri A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada, from his very birth, was trained in the strict practice of Bhakti Yoga, and he appears in a succession of gurus that traces back to the original speaking of Bhagavad Gita by Sri Krishna. Professor Kailash Vajpayee.
ये थोड़े testimonials हैं. Please, sorry, Professor Kailash Vajpayee, yes.
As I came to know the movement, I came to find that there was a striking similarity in the essence of what they were teaching and in the original core of Christianity. That is, living simply, not trying to accumulate worldly goods, living with compassion toward all creatures, sharing, loving, and living joyfully. I am impressed with how much the teachings of one man and the spiritual tradition he brought have impacted themselves into the lives of so many people. In my view, Srila Prabhupada's contribution is a very important one and will be a lasting one. Harvey Cox, world-renowned professor of religion at Howard University. In spite of leaving an international spiritual society, he preferred to keep a low profile, living modestly and riding mostly on the public transport. By dint of his spiritual power and great compassion, Srila Prabhupada turned many drug addicts, drunkards, criminals, etc. into virtuous and saintly people who have dedicated their lives to sharing spiritual happiness and wisdom with the whole world.
Thankfully, many of his disciples are still there, and they share, their previous experiences with Prabhupada and how they were before they came in touch with Prabhupada, how they were high on drugs and they were living such a miserable life, and how they became happies from hippies when they came in touch with Prabhupada.
Take advantage of this rare opportunity of this human form of life. There are 84 lakhs different species of life through which we are rotating life after life. So getting a human body is not an everyday affair. This most auspicious opportunity only comes after many millions of lifetimes in the lower species. Anyone who does not utilize their human life for self-realization is making the greatest mistake. When this happens, it is the greatest tragedy. And unfortunately, today, this neglect of the human form has become the standard behavior for the entire human society. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada.
Prabhupada ke quotes. So you can see in this picture that although we are humans, but we're just living like animals only, just focusing on eating, mating, sleeping, and defending, which animals do.
Srila Prabhupada's whole life was exemplary. In November 1977, he also taught his followers how a real lover of God should leave his body. Though utterly incapacitated and fragile, he spent the last particles of his energy translating ancient Srimad Bhagavatam with a microphone held to his mouth.
Yeah. There's a final lesson करके एक वीडियो भी है YouTube पे, आप देख सकते हैं. So you can see Prabhupada, he was on juices for many days. He just couldn't eat, and so he went to Vrindavan to leave his body, but till the last moment he was trying, because Srimad Bhagavatam is 18,000 verses. It's a huge volume. So Prabhupada had done about, with all that, he did Chaitanya Charitamrita, Bhagavad Gita, and so many other books he wrote. So some bit of Srimad Bhagavatam was left, and but till the last moment he was worried about us, because he wanted to give this, the Srimad Bhagavatam in English for us. So Prabhupada was translating right throughout that time, even while he was lying on the bed. And he could do up to Canto 10, few chapters, and rest his disciples completed later.
Buildings like this one, Samadhi Mandir, were erected to commemorate the outstanding contributions of this noble soul and to enshrine his body in Vrindavan, India. This outstanding person circled the globe 14 times and visited every major country to build the house in which the whole world could live peacefully.
Okay. All right. So this is Prabhupada's biography presented in brief through slides. We have much more in Srila Prabhupada's biography books. There's a small book which is called Srila Prabhupada Leelamrit, which is available for 100 or 110 rupees in the temple. You may take that and you may read it. It's a very nice read. And that also gives a snapshot of Prabhupada's life. But a detailed biography is also available. That is about 8 volumes. That is also available. It's called Srila Prabhupada Leelamrit as well. Okay, so far, any questions or any comments that you'd like to speak?
For us, chanting 16 rounds in a day is such a Herculean task,
Mm-hmm.
And because we say we have office, we have home duties, and somebody at that age doing this much is actually giving me goosebumps when I was reading it. That how is it possible?
Yeah.
And where are we and what are we up to?
Yeah. See that age. Okay. Anything else anybody wants to say?
So is there any concept of carry forwarding the Gaddi we say after Srila Prabhupada, or it is just the disciples who are maintaining and working for his cause?
Yeah, good question. Actually, Prabhupada trained all his disciples, and before leaving, he formed a group of 11 disciples, 11 sannyasi disciples, and he told them that you form a GBC, which is called Governing Body Commission. Sorry. Now, the GBC actually was existing during the time of Prabhupada also. So any decision that ISKCON takes is not done singularly by one person. It's not like Acharya system anymore. Acharya is Prabhupada only. And so he formed that GBC, and he said you add more members to it. So GBC works like this. It has one chairman at the top, and it has people, devotees who are supporting him. And then for every region there is a GBC, and those people report into the main members like that. So the whole world is divided into zones, and they have a representative in that area, and they report into the GBC like that. So no single person decision making, although there's one chairman, but the chairman stays the chairman only for 1 year, then another person becomes chairman like that. So we're just trying to follow Prabhupada as it is, whatever instructions he gave, and he by his example, he showed how to resolve so many things, during that time. So we're just trying to follow that. Anything else? Okay. All right. All right. So I have a very small presentation to share with you. It is about Tree of Devotion, Bhakti Vriksha. That is a program that is based on the teachings of Srila Prabhupada, and it's a step-by-step process. Like when you have a ladder and you want to reach the top. So we have we have Golok Vrindavan. We want to understand spirituality. We want to make spiritual progress. So this program, Bhakti Vriksha, or the Tree of Devotion, has been designed in such a manner that we can make a step-by-step progress to spiritual life. So this program has modules which will be read. It's a PowerPoint presentation based program, and we're going to read those modules, and we all are going to speak in that class. It's not just I giving a lecture and just going away. Everybody will have the opportunity to share their realizations so that we can enrich each other, not just receiving, we can also learn from each other. Okay, so I have a small presentation I made on that. So would request you to bear with me and stay for a little more time. I'm sorry. तो भगवद गीता के बारे में आप जानते हैं, श्रीमद् भागवतम के बारे में भी जानते हैं. We also have Chaitanya Charitamrit. Chaitanya Charitamrit is about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is non-different from Krishna, and he came 500 years ago, and he lived like a devotee. Krishna lived like a devotee to show us how we can follow Bhagavad Gita in our lives, how we can follow Srimad Bhagavatam in our lives. So, because in Kali Yuga, people tend to be very slow and they don't understand so much. So, if you give an example by acting out the Bhagavad Gita, by acting out Srimad Bhagavatam, then people are able to imbibe it in a better manner. So, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did that precisely, and he the life biography of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Chaitanya Charitamrit, and therein he speaks about Bhakti Vriksha, or the Tree of Devotion. This is Bhakti Vriksha. So Bhakti Vriksha, he says that I am the trunk. This is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's picture, who is Krishna, but he's acting like a devotee. So he says, I am the trunk and I'm the gardener. I'm the tree of devotion, but I'm the only gardener. How many fruits can I pluck and eat or distribute? I need all your help. तो हम सब वो रोल प्ले कर रहे हैं जिसमें हम कृष्ण को in form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we are trying to help him distribute the fruit of devotion. What is the fruit of devotion, by the way? Does anyone know? Any guesses?
Peace.
Peace. Okay, yes. Peace is a byproduct of that food, that fruit. What else?
Happiness.
Yes. Dheeraj. Manoj. Yes. What is the fruit of this devotion tree?
I think like peace will be there. मतलब शांति मिलेगी. Because will be chanting.
Okay. Inner peace and harmony. Yes. Okay. Yes. All right. Yeah. So the fruit of this tree is love of Krishna. Okay. So when we have someone who is as compassionate, as powerful, and it is said that जो कृष्ण हमें प्रेम करते हैं, it is the love of millions and millions of mothers put together. So we can see in our lives, we can see the love of one mother, but the way Krishna loves us is that of millions and millions of mothers. So when we experience that love, we have full faith in Krishna, and we experience that comfort, then automatically peace, inner joy, harmony, they just follow. So जैसे आप लोगों ने peace बोला, so I said it's a byproduct of that fruit. So that fruit is love of Krishna, and Krishna is saying, here is my love, just come and take it. So this entire program is designed to give us, or to help us attain the state of love of Krishna, wherein we continuously, unstoppingly experience that love, and then we are absolutely at peace. This is a small video I'd like to share with you. आप लोग देख पा रहे हैं वीडियो?
No, Mataji.
हाँ, नहीं देख पा रहे?
Bhakti means devotional service, and Vriksha means tree.
Wait.
Bhakti Vriksha means tree of devotional service.
Now we can see the
Bhakti
video.
Vriksha is a small group of devotees congregating together once a week under the guidance of the Bhakti Vriksha group leader. The leader also selects 1 or 2 advanced members as assistant leaders to help coordinate and get trained. The members get together like a small family or a bunch of dear friends, associating in bliss and progressing in spiritual life systematically. They meet in a scheduled basis in someone's home, or they meet using any of the digital platform. The weekly program consists of the following events: icebreaker, kirtan and chanting, discussion, outreach strategy, archana, and prasadam. This is the standard order of events. However, based on the practical convenience, this order can be changed.
Members arrive for the weekly gathering from various situations, so it will take some time for them to settle down for an active discussion. This may bring a cold silence in the beginning. In order to bring an effective interaction and discussion mood, icebreaker is introduced. Icebreaker is a quick 5 minutes activity. It can either be a question or a simple game in which everyone is involved. When group members participate in this activity, which is fun, this breaks the cold ice-like silence. Everyone becomes comfortable in the group to actively participate in further part of the program. In every session, the members get together and sing either melodious or vibrant kirtan by clapping their hands. The leader may arrange some musical instruments, such as kardal or mrudanga. Some other musical instruments may also be used to add rhythm to the kirtan. As the kirtan warms up, the members joyfully dance to the beats, bringing a festive mood. This brings a loving bonding among the members.
Each week, the Bhakti Vriksha group members sit together and chant congregationally one round, that is 108 times the Hare Krishna Moha mantra. This encourages them to chant regularly on a daily basis at home. Bhakti Vriksha leader may also organize a chanting session online for the members to join and chant an association daily on the digital platform.
Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Discussion. Every Bhakti Vriksha session is centered around a discussion based on a passage from the books of Srila Prabhupada. This event is interactive in nature. Members exchange their views. This is done in 3 phases, namely, discovery, understanding, and application. Discovery. In this, each member is asked to read a paragraph from the given passage, and then they go through the whole passage by themselves. After which the members are asked to highlight the salient point, which they consider important. This part of the discussion stimulates the members to listen attentively the verse and the purport. Also, this puts the subject of discussion clearly in focus. Understanding. This part of interaction is to get a clearer and deeper understanding of the passage being discussed. The Bhakti Vriksha leader asks relevant questions, which will reveal each member's philosophical insights. It also helps in clearing any misconceptions and gives a proper perspective of the subject. Application. In this phase of discussion, the members are asked to share their realizations and the relevance of the passage with our day-to-day Krishna conscious practices. This session develops into an interactive exchange, which equips and empowers the members with mature appreciation of Krishna consciousness and the devotees. This section is meant to expand Bhakti Vriksha groups by accepting new members, training the senior members to become leaders gradually. As the Bhakti Vriksha matures, the members may get inspired to either host or lead a similar new Bhakti Vriksha, and the leader facilitates the branching out accordingly. In this section, the members discuss Lord Chaitanya and his followers' life and teachings. This is to inspire the members to share the Krishna conscious experiences with the people they meet and interact. Members share these outreach experiences and realizations in this section. When anyone brings a new member to the Bhakti Vriksha group, the new member is given a warm welcome.
The members perform some devotional service to the deity in this section. While someone performs a kirtan, a devotee may do arati. Others perform archana, such as offering lamps or flowers. Here the members are experiencing joy of practical devotional service. The members may also get inspired to practice this at home.
Delicious Krishna prasadam, served with love, gives a happy finishing touch to the weekly gathering of the Bhakti Vriksha. The members joyfully enjoy the prasadam in the association. This establishes a loving bondage amongst the members.
So this was about Bhakti Vriksha briefly. So, so these kind of this presentation is slightly dated. So Bhakti Vrikshas are continuously expanding. So we in Russia we had about this presentation maybe like 4 years old. So 4 years pehle, Russia has about 1300 such kind of groups. UK has 500. The Middle East has, you can see, about more than 1,000. Canada has 100. USA has in many cities, and India also has in many cities. So these groups are running. And this entire course, or the Tree of Devotion Bhakti Vriksha course, is divided into 5 levels. So in each level, we are given a certification after we accomplish that level, accomplish the milestones that are, associated with that level. First is Shraddhavan, or the faithful, Krishna Sevak, Krishna Sadhak, Srila Prabhupada Ashray, and Sri Guru Charan Ashray. So at every step, we will receive a certificate duly signed by the temple president that we have completed this program. Like we just saw in the video, this slide is talking about that. And essentially, what we're going to read is, it is going to be based on Bhagavad Gita. It is aimed at step-by-step progress of the individual based on love and care for every individual. Group size is limited to 15. So we don't take more, but 15 is like we need to have at least 15 members for a good discussion. So we don't go beyond 15 because then we'll not be able to take care of every person as an individual. And this helps us build a strong, well-knit community of devotees with wonderful Vaishnava qualities. And what's more, we also have seminars every 9th week. We have Vyuha programs in which 2 or 3 similar Bhakti Vrikshas come together and they present in the temple, and the regular get-togethers, the picnics, the cultural programs, and there is either biannually or annually, there is a Mahamilan in which, we have about 30 Bhakti Vrikshas in Gurgaon, and all these Bhakti Vrikshas meet. We recently had a Mahamilan about a couple of months back, wherein many devotees presented very wonderful things. We also take spiritual tours. We go to Vrindavan or Mayapur and other places, and we celebrate the festivals together at the temple. So this is how a certificate looks like. This is a Shadaban certificate, and at every level you will be given this certificate if you follow the agree to follow the milestones which are there. Okay, one small video in the end.
Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada took these sacred teachings to the Western world and trained people on the practical aspects of Krishna consciousness. Implementation of Namahatta for the present time in the form of Bhakti Vriksha.
That is my Guru Maharaj. One moment, this is not.
More than 500 years ago, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu predicted that the Sankirtan movement, which is the congregational chanting of the holy names of God, would spread to every city, town, and village across the world. The Lord instructed his associates, Lord Nityananda Prabhu and Haridas Thakur, to disseminate his order everywhere, door to door, and beg the residents as follows. Shuno Shuno Nityananda Shuno Haridas Sarvatra Amar Agna Koro Prakash Prati Ghare Ghare Gya Koro E Bhikha Bolo Krishna Bhaja Krishna Koro Krishna Shikha. Speak about Krishna, worship Krishna, and teach others about Krishna. A few centuries later, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, the pioneering saint of the Gaudiya Vaishnava lineage, established the Namahatta, or the marketplace of the holy name, where people would congregate and practice Krishna Bhakti based on the seeds sown by Lord Nityananda Prabhu. In the same lineage, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada took these sacred teachings to the Western world and trained people on the practical aspects of Krishna consciousness. Implementation of Namahatta for the present time in the form of Bhakti Vriksha was introduced by His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj. The Bhakti Vriksha program structure follows the same format as Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakura's Namahatta organization, adapted for the current times. Bhakti Vriksha program is systematic, structured, and modular approach to learning and understanding the teachings of the scriptures like the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam through a step-by-step process. Bhakti Vriksha is best suited for beginners. The members joyfully participate and learn Krishna consciousness in a very friendly and informal setting. So, what are you waiting for? If you want to experience the transformation that tens and thousands have already experienced, come and join us for these weekly sessions, either online from the comfort of your home or face-to-face along with a group of other fellow seekers. Only your enthusiasm to learn and dedication to try and apply the teachings are all that is required.
Okay, thank you for your time. Can I see everyone? Okay, so you all are ready to be a part of Bhakti Vriksha? आप लोग तैयार हैं? क्योंकि हमें आपसे कमिटमेंट चाहिए होगा। ऐसा हम अनफॉर्चुनेटली क्योंकि जैसे सीढ़ी है, सीढ़ी के एक स्टेप से हम चौथे स्टेप पे कूद नहीं सकते, है ना? तो हमें हर सीढ़ी का हर स्टेप पे चढ़ना है ताकि हम ऊपर जा सकें. So every rung is important. So we will request you as far as possible, please do not miss Bhakti Vriksha classes, and we will also request that the classes will be 11 to 12:30, or if you want 11:30 to 1, whatever time suits you, we can decide. But we will need hour and a half minimum. In other groups we take 2 hours, but we're still being very डर के मैं बोल रही हूँ. तो आप प्लीज कोशिश कीजिए, इसको अटेंड कीजिए, और ये इंटरैक्टिव रहेगा. इसमें मैं नहीं बोलूंगी, आप सब भी पार्टिसिपेट करेंगे. तो any thoughts about it? Are you ready to participate in this program? This is a program which has been successful throughout the world. You can see, I have given you testimonials, I've given you shown you the videos. So let me know what you think about it. All of you, please tell me, are you ready? Dheeraj, what do you feel about it?
Yes, I think like I am in, and I everybody should do this. Like, सबको हाँ ही बोलना चाहिए. What I think.
Nishchay Prabhu, is that okay? Is the program okay with you? Would you be able to participate? Can't hear you.
Definitely, I will.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Garima. आवाज नहीं आ रही सबकी. Is my network bad? Is it?
Gana, your voice is not there. I think she has internet issues.
Okay, no problem. No problem. Richa, how did you like this whole thing?
Mataji was very lovely. I'm looking forward to joining the program, but yahi hota hai ki it's my transit time, so maybe my camera will be off because both the kids will be with me during that time.
Yes.
So I'll be there, but maybe my video will be off because I'll be in the car with the kids.
Okay, no problem. But you do please participate, because many times I have seen your questions are very intelligent, spiritually intelligent. So please.
No, absolutely looking forward to being on this journey, starting it in fact.
Yes.
So,
yes. इसमें सबका contribution चाहिए, and all of your realizations, your contributions are most important in this. Wonderful. Okay, Richa. All right. Hina is not well today. What?
No, Mataji. Fine.
Okay. So Hina is already a part of our other Bhakti Vriksha, but वो शुरुआत से join नहीं किया था, है ना? तो अभी I hope you'll be with us through this journey, है ना?
Yes, but next class में I will not be there.
अच्छा, ठीक है,
I
कोई